Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're looking at box number 30. We're going to start off with some Birds of Prey, kind of finishing that up from the last video, and then we will start moving into Black This, Black That, Black the Other Thing, ending in Black Hood. So it's going to be a great time. Hope you'll enjoy watching the video. Thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. And let's get going. All right, picking up where we left off last time. We've got Birds of Prey 106, including Manhunter and Knockout, and this chick who was pretty funny, and Scandal. And this big team up with Birds of Prey. Well, team up may be the wrong word, but they're all in the same book together. We go to 108. We've got, I think this was Barbara had an old rivalry that we never knew about with this woman who had taken on the Spy Smasher name after the 1940s hero that had originally come from Fawcett Comics in the real world. We've got 109. We've got the girls deciding on whether Black Canary is going to marry Green Arrow finally. Nicola Scott, of course, in here doing a bang-up job with art. I hadn't mentioned that before. We've got issue 112. Thinking back on Lady Blackhawk, who I think had passed, or maybe she hadn't passed. Maybe this is when she got thrown into the future, that kind of thing. But I'll focus on Lady Blackhawk. Issue 113. Got that. Oh shoot! I wish I could remember her name, but she's got some tie-in to Superman here apparently. And Birds of Prey 113, issue 120. I think this was the former Gypsy from Justice League Detroit, hanging out with the Birds of Prey. Got 121, Return of the Joker to Birds of Prey. Always, of course, a big deal, given that he is the one that had shot and paralyzed Barbara Gordon. And the series ends with issue 127. Right there. Oh, I guess she's clearly not dead. So anyway. But don't worry, because they were back briefly in the Brightest Day period of PC following Blackest Night, and Hawk gets to join because he's a bird guy, right? So and Ed Benez is back as well, so got some good stuff here. Issue 1, we got Art Germ coming in on some cover action here, so this is also good for picking up on his art. There. Got issue 9 of that series. Trying to find out what happened to Barbara. Got some, and then unfortunately though, that series ends again with issue 15. Although we did know that the new 52 was probably coming soon, so that probably had something to do with it, but some Birds of Prey action there. Because yes, in the new 52 we had a Birds of Prey series, which of course had a 0-issue cover by Art Germ. So if you're into Art Germ, be sure to check out this series, looking for his covers and stuff there. That series actually started with, included this Starling character, who was actually a really cool character, and once we sort of moved out of the new 52, we never saw her again, but she was really neat. I can't believe that nobody else has wanted to use her, but of Poison Ivy, Katana. So we'd moved away from the team that had been up to that point, except for Black Canary. So issue 1. Got Batgirl, kind of. Barbara's back as Batgirl, so she's kind of part-time. She's not sitting in the chair, as they say. But we've got this group going out and kicking butt. We've got issue 9. I'm getting involved in Night of the Owls, fighting a Talon, as you do during the Night of the Owls. We've got issue 14. More good stuff right there. Other things. See, Starling. Starling had guns. She was cool. You know, well, there wasn't the guns that made her cool, but you know, that was just what she did. We've got issue 15 going on. Also introduced this Condor guy who I kept thinking he was going to turn out to be a traitor or something. He just didn't. He seemed kind of skeevy, but he was a character. He was a good, decent guy, but we never saw him again either. Dwayne, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Dwayne took those characters with him. Anyway, issue 20. Starling gets her hands, I guess, on Mr. Freeze's Freeze stuff there. He's gonna kick some butt there. We changed the writers. Christy Marks. Got some more Claws of the Court of Owls. We got Talon, who is the one Talon who turns out to be a good guy, and he'll get his own series very soon. Issue 28. Gothtopia is that little crossover where everything becomes, you know, much better in Gotham, but it only lasts for a very short amount of time. It's not a real world. Right there. 28 and 29. Birds of Prey with Ra's al Ghul showing up, and this series ends with issue 34. Right there. Harley Quinn, or some Suicide Squad in general. Right there. Then there's some other Birds of Prey series. One of them, like it was a one-shot, but it's in the oversized. It was oversized, so it's in another box. So then there was Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, which we saw in a previous video. So I believe that takes us next to the current Birds of Prey series, and we've got this team right here. Kelly Thompson doing doing the writing. That team goes on a mission to Themyscira and runs up against Wonder Woman, but that's okay. Don't worry, they all make friends again at the end. We've got Black Canary's old daughter / younger sister, adopted, named Sin, who is bonded with a demon of some sort, and they have to come to terms with that. But the demon wind up with the demon kind of becoming like a superpower. There, issue 12. Our team is jumping through all kinds of weird, different realities. We've got Vixen, and one of those realities is sort of the little cartoony world. We got issue 13, continuing that storyline. Going on through different worlds. We're in the dawn of DC now. And my most recent issue as of the taping, as of our recording, is issue 20. Alright, then we've got this, we're getting into one-shots and things. Birds of Prey, Black Canary, Batgirl. There were some other one-shots, but I own them in a trade. But this is an early Gary Frank doing art, if I'm not mistaken. Greg Land doing interiors. There on this early one-shot before it became a full series. Got the Future's End holographic. So Black Canary being saved by the Lazarus pit there. Got Birds of Prey, Secret Files and Origins, more Phil Noto art. There, it's interesting because he doesn't necessarily use a lot of detail, but he does have this sort of photographic, more artistic, look to things. Really interesting. Got from the Girl Frenzy crossover, we've got a one-shot of the Ravens again, whose identities I still have a hard time remembering right there, but we've got a new one. Sorry if there's any noise. The rest of my family's enjoying their day. Bishop. Now we're jumping into some X-Men. Is this our first X-Men book? No, not really. Got Bishop, his individual mini-series, issue 1 right there. And that was going to go through issue 4. Carlos Pacheco, I believe. Yeah, doing the artwork on that. He's a great artist. Got Bishop, the last X-Man. So his next, or another of his mini-series. So we got issue 1. I don't think I have I can't remember if I've got the full, so maybe I do have the full series on this finally. Got issue 1 there. Got issue 8, or 6 rather, there. The Kith trilogy. Good stuff, good stuff. Got issue 12. Got Fitzroy back, big enemy of Bishop's. Fitzroy is the one that sent Bishop to the present. And 15. You could tell they were intending for this to be ongoing for a long time, because they're even getting into crossovers, which was the Maximum Security, where the aliens, the united sort of alien civilizations, decide to throw all of their criminals at Earth and let Earth worry about them. So, but I do believe this also brings him back to Earth, to the present as well. Then we've got issue 16, which I guess is the final issue, and he's back in just in time to be part of a 4-part crossover in various books. Dreams End, right there. Then we go to the fairly recent Bishop War College series, where Bishop is training some young mutants. We've got, is that Liefeld? Looks like Liefeld. Doing art on that. Issue 1. And that continues through issue 5. That was part of the Krakoa era. Then we've got Bishop, Xavier Security Enforcer. So this was a prequel to before he came to the present and his little team and that kind of thing that he was a part of back in the future. And that series ends in issue 3. Steve Epting doing artwork on that. Next we've got a little Bizarro series from a few years ago. It's kind of a cute little series. I'm not familiar with this Corson guy, but there's a lot of good humor in here. Basically, Bizarro and Jimmy Olsen go on a road trip. That's issue 1. And it ends with issue 6. Right there. Then we got some Black Adam stuff. We've got one of his earliest, just, without anything after his name, Black Adam. He had a 12-issue limited series from a few years ago. Tries to pass his powers on to somebody else. Got these nifty painted covers. That's the first issue right there. Somewhere in here is the first appearance of Bolt, the young man that Black Adam passes his powers on to. But first, he's got to have a battle with the Bat. Right there. Issue 6. And we got issue 7. Got this another cool painted cover depicting Black Adam. Looks a bit like that guy from The Mummy, ironically, which I'm sure that might have been what the artist was going for. And this ends with issue 12 right there. Then we've got Black Adam Endless Winter, part of this crossover where, winter became endless and everybody was trying to solve that. And you got Black Adam and some other sort of historical figures fighting Swamp Thing there, as you do. That's probably not regular Swamp Thing. That's probably a previous Swamp Thing as well. We're all the way at part 8 of Endless Winter here. Then we've got Black Adam. Oh shoot! There's actually something after the title Black Adam there. But it's actually not on the cover. Interestingly enough, we'll see if it's on subsequent issues. But we've got this is from his recent appearances in 52 and Countdown. Doug Mankey doing the art, and we're getting some revised history on him, and that goes through issue 6 as well. There, cool stuff. Then there were some one-shots that came out around the Black Adam movie, and we've got all those. The ones on the outside here, we've got the Atom Smasher one, and we've got the Hawkman one. These are pretty good. I mean, you could only get so into them knowing that they were just pertinent to the movie and not to the greater DC continuity, but they were pretty to look at. We've got this one shot having to do with Year of the Villain, and since Shazam had been infected by the boogie whatever virus by the Batman Who Laughs, Black Adam has to step in to stop him from doing bad things. Continuing the Black This and Black That, we've got, I don't know, I thought this just looked pretty cool. It's a series called Black and White. Again, I love superheroes, and yeah, it was okay. Nothing. This doesn't jump out at me as being all that great. But from Image Comics, Black and White 1 through Black and White 3. Not sure how combat effective that costume was, but what are you gonna do? Spend a little time. So more time with Black Canary. She had a 4-issue series written by Sarah Byam, art by Trevor Von Eden, who had done the Green Arrow miniseries not too far before this, and Dick Giordano, one of the great inkers. Giordano doing cover on this. Great stuff. And this goes through issue 4. This is more like the interior art with Von Eden. doing his thing on that. We're obviously hanging out in Seattle. Then that must have done fairly well, because not too long afterwards she gets a regular series by most of the same creators, and that starts here in volume 2, and got issue 1, we got issue 8. There's a very odd storyline. Jim Owsley's in here, who would go on to become Christopher Priest. So if you like Christopher Priest, you know that Jim Owsley literally changed his name to Christopher Priest. And I don't know if it's a pen name or if he legally changed his name or what. But anyway, and there is a weird relationship here between Ray, who's a teenage hero, and the very much adult Black Canary. He certainly has a crush, and at one point I think it's suggested that she reciprocates. I don't know, but after all she's put up with Green Arrow, I'm not gonna complain too much. Number 9, got Black Canary teaming up with her short black hair, teaming up with the Huntress, who was fairly new at the time, this being the post-crisis Huntress, Helena Bertinelli. And that series lasted through issue 12, where she teams up with some very large dude that doesn't have on a shirt. Then we go to her next series, which is a mini series back in 2007. Yep. And actually, that Sin character that I mentioned earlier, that's where one of the places I think we meet her, like a young adopted girl. Of course, she had gotten aged up in that other series, as they do. But we have this Tony Bedard doing the writing on this 4-issue series, and this is, I guess, where she agrees to. We think Sin is dead. She's not really, obviously, but and Green Arrow tries to soothe her pain, etc., and so on. Then we get to we're in the New 52, kind of that second wave, if I remember correctly, the DCU, or All For You, or whatever it was. This is the series that first created the situation where Black Canary is actually the lead singer in a rock band. That was a new development in the New 52. Sometimes they reference it, sometimes they don't. But that was the first issue of that. We got one of those. Make sure I say it right this time. I said it wrong in the previous video. One of the Looney Tunes. I may have said it wrong in multiple, but Looney Tunes crossovers or variant covers, and so we've got all the other bird characters on this variant cover for Black Canary 6. We've got Black Canary 7 right here, her whole band going into action, and then this series ends with Black Canary 12 right there. She's kind of having a bad day. Then we get to the very recent Black Canary, Best of the Best. Worth noting, not a Black Label series, so possibly taking place in the past, but not canon. Tom King, Black Canary, is recruited to go into a televised ring fight with Lady Shiva, winner take all. And why is she taking part in that? And will she win or will she lose? We'll see. That's issue 1, and that one ends with issue 6. Lots of great flashbacks to the past of her childhood in this series. Interesting stuff. We've got the Black Canary wedding planner. So back when she was getting ready to marry Green Arrow, we've got just some little stories there showing that process of her getting ready for that. All right, then we're going to go get into Black Cat for a bit. J. Scott Campbell, Black Cat. I think this is actually the A cover, so not necessarily a variant, but so I think he was doing the main covers on these. But great stuff, great stuff. If you're a Good Girl Art fan, this Black Cat series is for you. This is the first. This is not the first series for Felicia Hardy. The other one starts with Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. I think there were other Black Cat characters in the past, so Marvel may have wanted to just tread lightly on trademarks in the past, but here they're just like, the heck with it, we're Marvel, let's do it. So Black Cat number 1, going through number 5, showing all the various things that she's got going on. We've got number 6 right there. Scary. She gonna get you. Black Cat gonna get you. And issue 10, kind of a popular cover. J. Scott Campbell drawing a cover with the dude on it. Who would have thought? And everybody likes the little joke about Snicket. Right there. Issue 11. This is just a popular cover, I believe. It's a red dot book in my collection, though, because it's worth more. So that's a beauty. Make sure we're in focus. That. And that series ends with issue 12. Another J. Scott Campbell, Black Cat teaming up with Tony Stark. Match made in heaven. Notice Tony Stark hangs out with all of her Peter's ex-girlfriends after a while. And then that series had an annual right there, kind of a throwback to the old annuals that where Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson were getting married. Wait, what? We've got then her next series right there. Or is that J. Scott Campbell? No, that's not J. Scott Campbell. Whoever that is. That's I don't know who that is. But part of the King in Black crossover there. Issue 4 of that one. Black Cat surrounded by her two most favorite things, cats and money. We got issue 5, Gilded City. Storyline there. Good stuff. We got issue 10. Part of the Infinity, this really long-term, over lots of different books, this storyline where the Infinity Stones find new owners individually, and then those owners gradually come together, that kind of thing. It's been going on at Marvel for several years, which includes some annuals that include the Infinite Destinies annuals. Got White Fox, the Korean hero. I think this has actually got all of the Tiger Division in there. Asian team. Alright, so that's all the Black Cat to date. We've got Black Condor, revitalization or revamp of a Golden Age hero, done by Rags Morales, who would go on to do some other stuff, including Identity Crisis. Some interesting art choices in here, but this version kind of came and went. But there's his first issue 1. Here's his issue 8 of that series. We've got issue 9 right there. It's kind of hard to tell what the heck's even going on there, really. But, you know, in a last-ditch effort to save the day, we've got issue 12 with Batman, but that is not enough to save the series, as it will be canceled right there. Then we've got Blackest Night. Big DC crossover. Starts from the Green Lantern world. Black Hand, Green Lantern villain, gets a black ring, starts bringing dead people back to life in the name of the death god Nekron, as it were. So that's issue 1, just your basic A cover, issue 1. Got issue 4, Max Lord, back from the dead. I don't remember. Oh, Brainwave, the original Brainwave, back from the dead. Don't remember if I'm supposed to. Oh, Copperhead apparently was dead. So they're among the dead. Maybe Terra. Maybe that's Terra back there. Back from the dead. Issue 5. Nekron reveals himself as being behind it all. And he is back. He had first appeared in the Tales of the Green Lantern Corps miniseries back many years prior. And we have issue 8 with lots of DC heroes becoming various types of lanterns with lots of different colored rings and stuff. Not heroes and villains gaining rings. And then that was accompanied by lots of little individual miniseries where different characters faced different, usually it was some dead character from their past that came back. We've got Blackest Night Batman with Deadman guest starring right there. Can't remember who that's supposed to be, because that's not Dick, because that's not his belt. Maybe they got that wrong. I don't remember. But they look like they're the circus. Maybe. I don't know. But that's about Blackest Night Batman number 3. We got Blackest Night JSA. So again, Brainwave. Some other deceased heroes and villains in there. I think Atom Smasher was dead during this time. That's issue 1. Issue 3. This is so Earth 2 Superman, who really didn't exist in this world at all anyway, but somehow he comes. Oh yeah, okay. So this is after Infinite Crisis, when he had returned and then died. So now that he's dead in this world, he can be resurrected. So, and of course, he was the older cousin to Power Girl. So that's why that makes sense. And that would include his appearances here in Blackest Night, unless that's Jor-El. That might be Jor-El. I should really reread these before I try to explain them to people. But Blackest Night Superman, number 1. I think I read them when they came out. That's as good as it gets. We've got the team going up against the zombies. We've got Blackest Night Tales of the Corps. Different, just basically part of this crossover. The key members of each of the Lantern Corps going at it. And that continued all the way through issue number 3. Star Sapphire, Ivan Rice, Yowza. We got Blackest Night, The Flash. Throwing in the in case, since it's in the middle this time. The Black Flash. Lots of stuff going on there. Got Barry becoming a Blue Lantern Flash. The end of that series, long enough for the end of the overall event. Blackest Night, Titans, Changeling reunited with Terra, who had passed away. There, Ed Benez doing artwork chores on that. And that one ends in issue 3. Somewhere along the lines, we figure out that Dove's powers can push away the zombies. So she becomes a key feature in this overall storyline. Blackest Night, Wonder Woman, with some really fantastic painted covers, and interior art by Nicola Scott. But Max Lord, whom Wonder Woman had famously terminated, back for revenge. And Jean Ha, that's what I was trying to remember, doing cover. And Wonder Woman as a Star Sapphire. Yowza again. Alright, moving on. We've got Black Goliath right there. First issue. Written by was Tony Isabella at the time, now Jenny Blake. And one of Marvel's additional early superheroes, African-American superheroes. He would show up in the, I believe, the second Ant-Man movie. Right there. And he continues to have his adventures here. Fighting another Atom Smasher. Right there. And his series would end with issue number 5, right there. Then I've got a smattering of Blackhawks. They're all kind of in a row here in this little pack. I've got issue 249. I've actually got, there was the point where it got canceled in like the early 70s and then brought back in the late 70s, or I'm sorry, let me say that again. It ended in the late 70s and brought back in around the early 80s or something like that. But so, and I've got a few from both ends of that. But issue 249 of Blackhawk, right there, through 252, bringing back the War Wheel, right there. Then in the New 52, DC looked at all of the success that had been had with G.I. Joe, and that concept of this whole team of an army of dudes who all have distinctive sort of personalities and their code names and that kind of thing, and said, how can we duplicate that? And so they attempted it here with the Blackhawks. So you had this core group that you would follow, but this was some sort of paramilitary group that would go on missions, and I think they had some big enemy and that kind of thing, and they gave it their best shot, but it didn't make it. So we have issue number 1 right here, but that very quickly ended with issue 8 as they fight the Mother Machine. Then we've got so Archie Comics, who is known for the Archie character, had their Red Circle line of comics, and in the 80s they tried bringing them back, and one of them was Black Hood. So we've got issue number 1 of their Black Hood. I just remembered seeing these in dollar boxes and stuff in the 80s, and so I decided to try to get all of those. So I got issue 1, and that goes through issue 3. Alex Toth, classic artist, designed the original Super Friends cartoon. Great stuff, great stuff. And then DC got the license to do something with all those characters and created the Impact Comics line. And so they had their Black Hood, and their Black Hood was this magical mask that would get passed down through the generations and kind of give increased strength, speed, whatever, to whomever was using it, but that didn't necessarily make them a good person. So we've got issue 1 of that there. Got issue 8 through there, the Black Hood, and we've got issue 9 of that Black Hood series. Can't decide if his eyes are messed up or if his head is turned that way. Maybe that's why the book didn't last. Anyway, couldn't tell where he was looking. And issue 12, kind of going back to some history on the hood itself. And that was the final issue. We did have an annual right there from early on when that guy was wearing that suit. Part of an Earth Quest was the overarching storyline of all the annuals, and there was a trading card, and I don't know, but I think that trading card did not survive the transition. So there you go. That's the end of that box. All right, so next time we will do box number 31. We will continue with titles starting with the word black, moving all the way through a Black Widow, which means we will have some Black Panther in there. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you will come back, and I hope you have a great day.